It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from around the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life Channel News. I'm Eric Granstrom filling in for Steve Hare. A few of the stories we're following for you tonight: an update on the Sutherland Canyon fire. We visited the Red Cross shelter. A global cyber attack has many on the defense, and a local cafe could close after financial struggles. Later on, we'll have sports, our feature story on a new head for the ESD, and your weather forecast with Dan Kuntz. First, it was another hot, back-breaking day on the fire lines for hand crews working to corral a series of large brush fires in Sutherland, Douglas, and now Grant counties. Moments ago, we caught up with a spokesperson for the Wenatchee-Okanagan National Forest Service for an update.
Public Information Officer Holly Craig joins us on the phone line now for a fire update. Holly, quite a bit of activity last night for the Sutherland Canyon fire. Can you get us the update here this afternoon?
Sure. So last night the fire had very active fire behavior, running and spotting, which means that embers from the fire carry the fire several distance ahead of the main fire front. Lots of active winds last night, and because of that activity, it did spot across Palisade Road in that Moses Coulee area, and then from there continued to grow across Palisade Road, and it burned into Grant County.
And with that, kind of some evacuation level changes for that Palisades Road area?
That's correct. So earlier today, Douglas County Sheriff issued a level 3 evacuation for the 30 or so structures and homes within the Palisade Road area itself, beginning at the juncture of Palisade Road and Highway 28. And then there were also level 2 evacuations issued, which means to be ready to go at a moment's notice for some additional areas in that vicinity.
We had reports today of a ranch in that area that had the fire go through the ranch last night. They were talking about the fact that they thankfully saved their livestock and things like that. Do you have any structure damage at this point as far as what's been reported?
We have no reported damages of structures, outbuildings, homes, no damages or losses reported at this point in time, but we are continuing to work very closely with local landowners to take protective measures and continue point protection efforts wherever we are able to.
Give us the update on the acreage and what the attack is for the Sutherland Canyon fire, and then we'll get to our other ones that we have burning.
The Sutherland Canyon fire is approximately 10,000 acres with 10% containment. This is burning in some pretty steep, rugged terrain and grass and brushy fuels. So we're utilizing a combination of air resources with water drops, dozer lines, and crews constructing hand line to halt that fire spread where it's safe to do so. So at times, that means letting the fire come to us where we can safely engage it, where it's simply we just don't have the option to safely put firefighters.
Let's go back across the river to the Sutherland County side and get an update from you, if we could, on the Spartan fire.
So currently the Spartan fire is 7,500 acres. We were able to increase containment to 30%, approximately 160 personnel working that. They were able to do approximately 1.5 mile burnout operation to safely bring the fire to containment lines when conditions were the most favorable. And fire managers are feeling pretty confident about the amount of black that they have there and their ability to put in some dozer and hand line to the north to hopefully get that one more solidly contained.
For those that have been traveling back and forth between Crescent Bar and the Wenatchee Valley, East Wenatchee, they've seen a lot of Bureau Land Management fire apparatus going back and forth, and that kind of tells me that they might be working more of that straight hollow fire, which is a new one for us today. Can you tell us more about that?
The straight hollow fire was originally part of the 5-fire group that was collectively being called the Sutherland Canyon fire. However, again, with those red flag conditions yesterday and again, continued red flag conditions today, that fire grew substantially. It on its own is now 6,000 acres with 20% containment, and that is burning primarily on BLM lands.
So from these fires that began Monday, now we're over 23,000 acres in 3 different counties. I hear that this also kind of ratcheted up the response as far as the fire fighting effort. Is that true?
So, we are continuing to pull in crews, pull in resources. Between the 3 fires, there's approximately 360 personnel responding. Additionally, due to the increased size and complexity of these wildfires, a Type 2 incident management team was ordered, and they will be assuming command of these fires on Thursday, the 29th.
Anything else we need to get out to the viewers at this time, Holly?
A couple key things. One, of course, is that there are shelters that have been set up here in East Wenatchee, and then also for animals, again, for evacuees, for animals at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. So we definitely encourage folks to check out the Spartan Fire 2017 Facebook page for those updates. Also, of course, InsaWeb is a great source of information about evacuations and closures.
Holly, thank you very much for the information, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thank you so much.
Today at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church, the Red Cross set up a relief center to help support Level 3 evacuees from the recent surrounding wildfires. We caught up with Sarah Grimm to talk more about how the Red Cross assists the people whose homes are under evacuation.
Well, good morning. My name is Sarah Grimm, and I am the Disaster Program Manager for the American Red Cross here in Wenatchee. I got a call bright and early this morning that there were up to 50 homes being put on Level 3 evacuations for the Palisades fire, which then means that we open up a shelter for those folks to come to get food and shelter. If they need medical care, we can address that. Give them a place to go. So we are set up here, we're staffed with volunteers, and we're happy to be here. We've got great partners at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church. Their facility is beautiful, and we're very happy to be here. I also want to say thank you to the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, who is working with the evacuees to be able to take care of their pets and livestock and horses. So it's the community is really coming together today. We are currently welcoming any victims from Level 3 evacuations from any of the fires. We have the ones listed, the Level 3s for the Douglas County Palisades fire. We have some Level 2 evacuations as well. So we're welcoming all Level 3 evacuees to this shelter at this time. Wildfire season is upon us, and we welcome people to partner with us. If you would like to become a volunteer, go to redcross.org and start the registration process. If you're interested in supporting the Red Cross monetarily, you can make donations on redcross.org also. And we really appreciate all the community support.
Coming up, a cyber attack strikes on a global level. The Chelan County PUD General Manager and Representative Dave Reichert join a national alliance for energy efficiency, and a local cafe could close its doors after financial struggles. I'm Eric Grandstrom, and you're watching NCW Life Channel News.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Welcome back to NCW Life Channel News. I'm Eric Grandstrom filling in for Steve Hare. Petya cyber attacks striking computers around the globe poses a serious threat to computers. NCW Life's Brenda Mandelis has the story.
The latest global cyber attack, nicknamed by some as Petya, is an improved and more lethal version of the WannaCry ransomware virus that hit around the world a few months ago. This new attack is capable of locking entire hard drives, not just files like previous ransomware attacks. Microsoft has released a patch to fix this exploit, so make sure you don't ignore the Microsoft Update pop-ups on your screen. As annoying as updating may seem, it's far less strenuous than all of your important information, photos, and music being locked away behind encryption and held for ransom. While updating is important, there are several other methods to protect yourself from these attacks. Backup, backup, backup. Localtel, which serves thousands of internet customers in North Central Washington, suggests the following. Always have 3 different backups. One live version, the one you leave on your PC, one backup locally, like a USB drive, and one backed up remotely by your service provider. These are the minimum recommended backups. Some of their business customers also do a quarterly backup to an external hard drive and take to a safety deposit box. Another safety measure is to be suspicious of any and all emails that come with attachments, even emails from friends and family.
For more on this cyber attack and how to protect yourself, visit ncwlife.com. The Alliance to Save Energy elected new board members at its annual meeting last week, bringing Representative Dave Reichert and General Manager Steve Wright of the Sutherland PUD on board to advocate for energy efficiency across sectors. Wright will provide counsel to the Alliance on key energy policies facing the U.S. in the coming years. For more on this story, visit our website, ncwlife.com. A popular eatery in Dryden is threatened with closure due to financial struggles associated with a plumbing issue that shut the business down for a week. The owners of the Take a Break Cafe say the resulting revenue loss has forced them to file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy protection. The cafe is a popular local gathering spot located along Highway 2 near the Blewett Pass cutoff. The owners have produced a short video promoting its significance to the community. A GoFundMe account has been set up to take community donations, and it appears they are halfway to their goal of raising $8,000. You're watching NCW Life Channel News. Coming up next, I'll have your sports update and our feature today on a new leadership taking the helm at the North Central Educational Service District. We'll be right back.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to Localtel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life Channel.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Channel. I'm Eric Granstrom, filling in for Steve Hare, and hey, it's me. I'm doing sports, so I guess that's what I do. Wenatchee erased an early deficit behind the bat of Evan Johnson and his 5 RBIs to beat the make that Port Angeles 8-3 in Game 1 of the 3-game series at Paul Thomas Senior Field last night. Apple Sox fell behind 1-0 in the second when an error extended the frame for starter Colin Mayer. An RBI double gave the lefties their only lead. Wenatchee recovered in a third of a 4-run frame. Johnson erased the deficit with his first of 2 RBI doubles off of Brandon Reynolds. Garcia brought him home with a 2-run home run in the opposite way to right field. Port Angeles trimmed the Wenatchee lead with a solo home run in the next frame by Mike Canciano and Ian Nowak, but those were the last runs the lefties could muster off of Mayer and the rest of the Apple Sox staff. Mayer threw 5 3-run innings for his team-leading 4th win and was backed up by Hugh Smith for 3 solid innings and an 8th hitless inning of the summer by Connor Leadholm. Wenatchee added its insurance in the 4th on a second RBI double by Johnson, who also drove in a run with a single in the 6th and finished with another 4-hit night. It was Johnson's 10th multi-hit night of the year and 8th multi-RBI game of the year. With 5 ribbies, he became the 3rd player in summer to tie the team record for RBIs in a single game. Johnson also has 31 ribbies on the season, first in the league ahead of the next best hitters. Wenatchee and Port Angeles meet for Game 2 of the 3-game set tonight, 7:05 at Paul Thomas Field. Also in West Coast League last night, it was Kelowna down in Cowlitz 8-6, victory over Corvallis 5-0. Walla Walla blanked Gresham 7-zip, and Yakima Valley got by Bend 8-5. The Apple Sox still in 4th place in the North Division standings. Well, the Wild season schedule's due out soon. There really is no off-season for hockey fans or for the front office of the Wenatchee Wild. Director of Media Relations and Voice of the Wild, Arch Ecker, was in recently with Dan Kuntz on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley to announce the theme for this year's campaign as the Wild celebrate a decade of play in Wenatchee.
Year 10 in the Den is our motto for this year. Of course, the Wolves' Den has proven to be a very comfortable place for the Wild over the season. In fact, last year they didn't lose a game in regulation the entire regular season. 26-0-2 at home. It was ridiculous.
Ecker says the team and its fans are anxiously awaiting the British Columbia Hockey League to announce the season schedule, which could come out any day.
At any rate, we've got at least a skeleton framework to start working with, and that allows us to start planning for some of the events that we do year after year, like Pink at the Rink, your military night, Guns and Hoses, some of the events that have been very well received and liked by the community, so we have to slot all that in. And again, that's not something that happens overnight. It takes a lot of work. So yeah, you know, the off season is really a busier time for all of us than actually during the season. Because once the season starts, well, then it's easy because you just follow the schedule. Oh, we got games this weekend, we go on the road here, and it's just a recipe that you just sort of recook and rehash. But that summertime, that's when you really want to try to grow new ideas and implement new things, and it's a very busy time.
The Wild are expecting to play about 30 home games at the Town Toyota Center beginning in September and running through February. Well, at some point, the Mariners are going to have to pull the plug, it would seem, on closer Edwin Diaz. The closer for the Mariners got shelled again in the ninth inning today, blowing a Mariners 5-4 or make that 4-3 lead, allowing a Tommy Joseph two-run homer in the ninth. Philadelphia wins it 5-4. This follows the game last night and a ninth inning performance when Edwin Diaz imploded, allowing 4 runs on 3 hits, including a 2-run home run to Aaron Althier. Seattle got solo home runs today from Kyle Seager, Danny Valencia, and Robinson Cano. After last night's 8-2 loss in Philadelphia, manager Scott Service says that Diaz was going to have to come to the mound preparing to throw against Major League batters. Seattle now 2 games below 500 as they travel to L.A. to begin a weekend series with the Angels on Friday. Also in the American League last night, in the West that is, Texas got over Cleveland 2-1. It was Oakland beating Houston 6-4. The Dodgers shut out the Angels in the Battle of L.A. by a final of 4-0. That's a check of sports news on the NCW Life channel. There is a changing of the guard at the North Central Educational Service District as outgoing Superintendent Rich McBride retires at the end of the week. McBride has been replaced by Dr. Michelle Price, who brings to the job a lot of leadership experience in our regional schools. They appeared together as guests on today's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley program with Dan Kuntz.
You are under a considerable amount of pressure, Michelle, because you're following Rich, who had to follow Dr. Gene Sherritt. These are 2 people who've done incredible work over the last 20, 25 years, and now you are taking over for Rich.
I'm scared. He keeps telling me, don't worry, you don't have to wear my boots or fill my boots, just fill your own heels. So.
Give us a little thumbnail biographical sketch of yourself, please, personally.
You bet. So background, I have a BA degree in education with special education as my emphasis. I've been an elementary building principal and assistant superintendent in the Moses Lake School District. I've also been a principal in Soap Lake and taught in Tacoma years ago. So I have about 29 years of experience under my belt. I'm the mother of 4 adult children and grandma to 3 kids right now. And then married to Rich.
How did this job pop up on your radar screen? Were you recruited? How did this whole process work?
Yes and yes. You know, as you take a look at your career span and what your interests are and your strengths are, when Rich announced that he was going to be retiring, I really had to sit down and say, what's involved in that position? Would I be a good fit for it? Had a lot of conversations with him and others that have filled like positions across the state in one of the 9 ESDs, and just made a decision that I thought I could be a good fit for it. So I threw in my application.
The North Central ESD area includes 12,600 square miles, or approximately 20% of the geographical area of the state. The NCESD serves 29 school districts in this region, which includes Chelan, Douglas, Grant, and Okanagan counties. These districts serve over 40,000 students, or 4% of the state's kindergarten through grade 12 enrollment. They vary in size from Wenatchee and Moses Lake at over 7,000 students to Stehekin with 15. We'll be right back in a moment with a recap of today's stories and your weather forecast for North Central Washington.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life Community Calendar at ncwlife.com.
Welcome back to NCW Life Channel News. I'm Eric Granstrom. It was another hot, back-breaking day on the fire lanes for hand crews working to corral a series of large brush fires in Chelan and Douglas counties, and now in Grant County as well. In Chelan County, crews have the Spartan fire 30% contained. It scorched an estimated 7,500 acres of mostly brush and grass. The Malaga-Clackamas area southeast of Wenatchee. Officials with the Unified Command say over 160 personnel deployed on that fire. No structures lost, evacuation levels and road closures remain unchanged from yesterday. Meanwhile, in Douglas County, the Sutherland Canyon fire became a lot more active last night with flare-ups fueled by strong gusty winds. A level 3 evacuation was issued this morning for homes in the Palisades Road 6 miles up from Highway 28, and the road remains closed to the general public. The Red Cross has set up an emergency shelter in East Wenatchee at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church. The fire is reportedly 10% contained and over 10,000 acres in size. The Spartan Fire Unified Command also manages a new fire, the Straight Hollow Fire, which branched off the Sutherland Canyon Fire and spread over 6,000 acres and threatens to cross the line into Grant County, which it has now. The fire reportedly poses a threat to homes in the Trinidad area where a level 2 evacuation advisory has been issued. Well, today at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church, the Red Cross set up a relief center to help support level 3 evacuees from the recent surrounding wildfires. We caught up with Sarah Grimm to talk more about how the Red Cross assists the people whose homes are under evacuation.
Well, good morning. My name is Sarah Grimm, and I am the Disaster Program Manager for the American Red Cross here in Wenatchee. I got a call bright and early this morning that there were up to 50 homes being put on level 3 evacuations for the Palisades fire, which then means that we open up a shelter for those folks to come to get food and shelter. If they need medical care, we can address that. Give them a place to go. So we are set up here, we're staffed with volunteers, and we're happy to be here. We've got great partners at the Columbia Grove Covenant Church. Their facility is beautiful, and we're very happy to be here. I also want to say thank you to the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, who is working with the evacuees to be able to take care of their pets and livestock and horses. So it's the community is really coming together today. We are currently welcoming any victims from level 3 evacuations from any of the fires. We have the ones listed, the level 3s for the Douglas County Palisades fire. We have some level 2 evacuations as well. So we're welcoming all level 3 evacuees to this shelter at this time. Wildfire season is upon us, and we welcome people to partner with us. If you would like to become a volunteer, go to redcross.org and start the registration process. If you're interested in supporting the Red Cross monetarily, you can make donations on redcross.org also. And we really appreciate all the community support.
And now Dan Kuntz has your weather forecast for North Central Washington.
The National Weather Service has issued a red flag warning for all of North Central Washington. This warning is in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. A red flag warning is issued when a combination of strong winds, low relative humidity, and warm temperatures can contribute to extreme fire behavior. Now, crews are keeping a very close watch on the winds, which are expected to increase in intensity tonight before tapering off early Thursday morning. The wind direction is expected to shift from the west to the northwest tonight at 7 to 17 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 28 miles per hour. Now, Thursday, the winds will decrease to 5 to 7 miles per hour. Under sunny skies tomorrow, expect a high of 89. A quick warm-up is expected for Friday before we gradually cool down to normal temperatures. Friday's high of 94. We cool down to 90 on Saturday, 89 on Sunday, by Monday, mid-80s, and by Independence Day, a high of 82. And that's your forecast on the NCW Life Channel.
So another windy night tonight, so let's cross our fingers and hope that no more problems with those fires on the fire lines, and let's certainly keep those firefighters and those in the fire's path in our prayers. That's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or on our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. Thank you very much for watching. This has been NCW Life Channel News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a good evening.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life Channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life Channel on Twitter.
Get the fastest internet available in North Central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.